It's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
Welcome to The New Next, a podcast that addresses current events and how they will impact the future. I like the fact that that's the stuff that you're thinking about when we talk about AI and everything and what the regulation type stuff. Probably as most people know that there's the whole SAG writer strike right now going on, and it's also centered around AI and the lack of regulations right now that are guiding it is what's causing all the problems, or is what's causing the strikes in the first place. And then on a secondary level, they're asking for more money for regular actors, regular writers. Just to kind of give like a thing is, so, and I think this is important because of the AI crossover. Like you've done a really thorough job of talking about how AI in the field of business. Actually, I don't know. Maybe it's not that important. I don't know.
Everything's important.
Okay, well, in that case, so like the original writer strike that started in May was about the studios and stuff have long paid writers per episode of shows specifically, and you had to have so much written in a movie to be able to get credit as a writer for the credit, therefore get the minimum amount of money or whatever, which is cool whenever there's 24 shows in a season or 20 shows in a season, and that's the standard across the board. In the mid 90s, HBO started airing shows that were 10 to 14 episodes, which is 10 episodes less, but they were paying their writers for the season, not necessarily for like the per episode was a higher thing than it would have been if you were doing a 20 or 24 episode thing. Well, then now it's rare to see any writing that is more than, I think the longest show I know of is like 12 or 14 episodes, and the rate hasn't really gone up any. But they're basically expecting writers to be, and the goal was to fill up, back when everything was not streaming, to fill up a full season, a full slate of shows, Monday through Sunday. So every little time slot is covered, whether it's by sports, whether it's by news, other factors of that nature. So 24 episodes would cover half a year, basically, between, and then you'd have a break right before Christmas. And then after New Year, you would start back up the second half of the season. Well, now it doesn't really matter what streaming platform you're on. They might either release out the whole show all at once. And the most popular one, like recently, was Wednesday last November. The Addams Family thing, they released that right before Thanksgiving. And everybody binged those 10 episodes. Like pretty much everybody that watched it within a week of starting the first episode. Then you have stuff like Disney Plus and HBO Max, or just Max now, where they're doing shows like the House of Dragons, Andor, Ahsoka, Winning Time, Righteous Gemstones, where these are all weekly releases. But again, there's nothing more than 10 episodes. In fact, I think Winning Time, they're doing their season finale tonight, and I'm like, but there's only like 6 episodes this season. So I mean, that's as a viewer. So if a writer is having to now condense down 24 episodes into 10 episodes or 6 episodes in this case, the cost, they're not getting as much money, but they're still doing almost as much work. And it's that's kind of what started the initial strike. And then the studios just threatened that they would use AI to write scripts based on the scripts that have already been written. So they would scan in like the most recent episode, and they would let ChatGPT or whatever write the next show based on that. And I think we've talked about this more. We probably actually talked about this more than anybody else that's not in the industry, so to speak. But the danger of that is the people who expect high standards for the shows they watch and stuff. That's not going to change. But the general person doesn't really care. They just want something on in the background that keeps them entertained enough. And AI can write well enough to keep entertained. Like, I haven't watched anything since Fast and Furious 3 or Tokyo Drift or whatever. But I have a feeling, based on everything I've been told about Fast and Furious movies, the most recent one was written by AI because they're superheroes in space. But it's all about family. You know, and I do plan on watching it eventually. But
they're in space. It's Fast and the Furious.
Yeah, the most recent one that was released in like April or May. They're in space now.
How are they able to?
I don't know. I haven't watched since the 3, and this is like 10 or 11 or something.
Yeah.
And just that hearing that alone, it's like, well, that sounds like something AI would sound, you know. Or just somebody, and then you're like, oh wait, that wasn't AI. That was actually human beings that wrote that. People have gotten on. I mean, it caused a lot of controversy, especially last year, about the fact that Chris Pratt was the voice of Mario. And they're like, he's not Italian, he's Italian. And then it's like, well, we're not doing an Italian accent for Mario. And that caused a lot of problems. But those are the kinds of things that I think easily translate into an AI type situation of saying like, hey, we don't really care if a Western has anybody that sounds like they're Western. Like no cowboys sound like John Wayne, like, well, little lady, we're going down to the beach and we're going to find us a shark, you know, none of that kind of talk or anything. It might not even have Southern accents. It might everybody be with a New York accent in the South, which is hilarious when it's done as satire, it's done as spoof and stuff like that. But when it's because we don't want to pay people a living wage to do the thing that's creating this, that's when it kind of gets dangerous.
How much do you think it might be purist though? Because if you're a really talented writer, then I would think that you would be able to use AI in a productive way. Joel's company, Copy AI, if you're using that as a writer, then it allows you to basically innovate different themes real quick. And then you're kind of like a integrator more. And then you're able to massage that using your writing skills. So Copy AI has a theme, you know, you can have brand themes and stuff like that. And I just see, I mean, like I'm a huge old school movie guy, but I don't really get, and even with TV shows, I watch like Murder, She Wrote, you know, like that's one of my favorite shows.
Yeah.
And Lawrence of Arabia is like my favorite movie. So I just think that in recent years, it costs so much that the quality has gone perhaps down a little bit. And you'd rather have, in my opinion, the best writers that use the best tools get paid a lot of money to do that than have everybody be broke, basically trying to get by, essentially.
Yeah, I get that to a point. And I think that if that's all it was, it would be different. But I don't think that's what's going on.
Yeah. No, I agree with you.
And also, in the same way that you say, like, it'd be a purist that on this one side, there's kind of this nostalgic view then coming from the side that could be taken with what you said of, oh, well, I like the classics. I like these classic type things. So in one sense, it's and Futurama even made fun of this in their new season of what if what if Murder, She Wrote, they just used an AI of some sort to continue making episodes? And then with all the other technology and stuff, they can just use Angela Lansbury's digital face and stuff, and they can voice, and they can make it without her giving any permission whatsoever. And it would be cheaper than actually going and hiring somebody to pretend to be a young Angela Lansbury and stuff, or whatever. Or Angela Lansbury is 500 years old, but they're still doing Murder, She Wrote, you know. Like there's something about that that's kind of cool. Like if you're a diehard Murder, She Wrote fan, that works. But the quality is just as bad on the other side. I mean, if and I'm not saying there's a right way or a wrong way, because I think that that's one of the things that we get trapped in, or can get trapped in, is like if I don't like Murder, She Wrote as much, then I kind of want that if they're going to reboot it to have fresh writers and stuff. But if you would like to learn more about the New Next podcast, find us at thenewnextpodcast.com, where you can suggest a topic you would like for us to cover. If you enjoyed what you heard, share the podcast, tell a friend about it, or rate us with 5 stars.